What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise Live. I just got to start off this stream.
Uh-oh.
What?
You shaved.
That was the most predictable response. I knew in the middle of my intro, you would be like, whoa. Yeah, I did shave. I need new, dude, it was adult blaze, so it wasn't even the best shave, so it's like not even that close, but yeah, I shaved. Yeah, I did. But anyway, I gotta start off the stream with just a little disclaimer. Sorry if there's a bunch of noise, because people in this place decided to replace a dishwasher at 10:15 at night. That's why it took so long for us to go live, because the noise when they were taking the first one out was unbearable. Like, you would not be able to understand what I'm saying. You would just hear a drill. So we're going to see how it is. I'm a little annoyed, but you know, whatever. The stream is probably only going to be 45 minutes. We're going to do picks against the spread, and then we're going to preview this Brooklyn Nets game and go over, just kind of refresh you guys on the playoff scenarios, and that is all. Anyway, why is there a stream on the main channel? That's because YouTube glitched out. I actually made a mistake. So I will actually delete that video right now. Thanks for reminding me, Trevin. YouTube was glitching out, and it made me make a mistake that I wouldn't normally make. Basically, there's a code that you put into the streaming software that connects you to the YouTube stream, and I forgot to replace it with the code from this stream and kept it with the code from the last stream. So yeah, that's what's up with that. All right,
What's up, everybody? Hey, Malcolm. Hey, Samuel. Hey, Leo. Hey, Trevin. Hey, Sherbins. Small crowd tonight.
It'll babyface GG.
Hey, codename Ace. What's up, Chris?
Normally we do sit on the black screen for a good 3 to 5 minutes while people come in, so we just kind of started a little bit quick with this one. We'll wait till we get about 20 people in here, and then we'll do picks against the spread. We did picks against the spread today. I actually thought it worked okay with Twitter.
I can vote. The only way for me to see the results, I haven't checked after they ended, but it was to vote, so I just didn't look. So you'll have to tell me.
Okay. let's go over. Let me go to. I'll go through the games, and you will tell me the final score. We'll go over the action today while people file in. We started the day. Me and Chat were tied at 206 and 185. Eric was again behind at 205 and 186. The first game we had, the Houston Rockets were favored by 8.5, and me and Eric both doubled down on the Pacers, and Chat went with the Pacers as well, and the Pacers ended up winning. So that's 2-0 for me, 2-0 for Eric, 1-0 for Chat.
Do you know what game Chat doubled down on?
Chat doubled down on the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors were favored by 5.5, and they won by 4. So Eric went with the Raptors as well. I went with the 76ers. I don't know if that spread moved closer before the game. I know the timing of it was kind of weird, the timing of the voting and whatnot. That's why we don't normally do it through Twitter. But yeah, it just sucked that was such a close game to the spread. But I had the Sixers. Eric had the Raptors. Chat had the Raptors in that game, which was a close game down to the wire. It could have swung either way because the Raptors won by 4. You had Oklahoma City favored by 3.5 against the Heat. We all went with the Heat. OKC won by 1, so we all got a win there. And then the Clippers were favored by 5.5 against the Nuggets. I went with the Clippers. Chat and Eric went with the Nuggets. The Clippers, I believe, won by 13, if I recall correctly. The Clippers won by 13. So that was the action from today. Win or go home. Let's go. Andrew, your Spurs have no chance, man. So anyway, I think that puts me at 211 and 185. That puts Chat at 209 and 187. That puts Eric at Oh, 8 and 188. So anyway, we got 2 days left. We got today, we got tomorrow. I forgot there was games on the 14th. Forgot there was games on the 14th. So we got today and we got tomorrow. I'll try and do graphics for the post-game stream tomorrow, and we can do picks against the spread at the very end of that stream. I'll try and do it. We'll have a lot more people in chat, so that'll be a trip. that'll be interesting. I've never really done the graphics on a post-game show, but there's only 4 games on the last day of the season. So anyway, let's jump into it. Let's jump into picks against the spread. We got 6 of the 7 games. The Lakers game did not have a spread, so we're going to start off with our first game. We got Boston versus Washington. This is a good old-fashioned pick'em. I am going to roll with the Boston Celtics here. The Celtics are probably going to rest their guys and play their third stringers, but Washington's first stringers might be worse than Boston's third stringers. So in a pick'em, I think it's a pretty safe bet to go with the Boston Celtics here.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of like some of the third string Boston guys, so I'm going to go with Boston as well.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a fun game to watch, too, just to watch some of those guys in action. Romeo Langford.
Get some
and
Taco Fall.
Good old Taco, man. Too bad tomorrow is Thursday and not Tuesday. Anyway, let me see what chat is going for. Chat is going all out for Boston as well. No surprise there.
Might be their double down.
Yeah, Eric going with the double down as well.
Chris Stevens in with the Washington to ruin the
person.
The perfect.
There's one person that could be like, you know what? I don't want us to double down on this one. I'm voting Washington.
Yeah.
Strategy, but you know what? That's only one vote, so we'll see how the rest go. Because the Portland game, I think, will be pretty split. We'll get to it. The second game we got is Milwaukee against Memphis. Milwaukee is favored by 4. Giannis is suspended because he headbutted a guy. Memphis is playing for their playoff lives. If Memphis wins, they're in the play-in. If they lose, it's likely that they're out, because I think it's likely the one of Phoenix or San Antonio wins. So in this game, with Milwaukee being favored by 4, I'm going to go for the Grizzlies. They're just playing. They're playing for everything right now. Milwaukee's playing for nothing. Milwaukee's going to rest guys, most likely, and Memphis is going to play their guys. So with Milwaukee being favored by 4, I think this is an easy bet for Memphis here.
I am taking the Grizzlies as well. These games, it's not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no skill involved. It's just like...
Yeah, that's the one thing.
Throw crap against the wall and hope you're right.
It would have been like that if it wasn't like in the bubble. It would have been even worse if there wasn't a bubble, because you'd have like the bottom 8 teams in there as well, like playing who Lord knows who, So that's the one thing we didn't foresee is like, crunch time for picks against the spread. You're going to have a bunch of games where like good teams are resting guys. So next year, I will end it at least like a week early. I think it's smart. Fantasy basketball, they do that. Fantasy football, usually it's good to end it a week early because the last week of the regular season, teams are resting good players and stuff, so it can mess with that. So next year with picks against the spread, we'll do that as well. But this is what we got. We got basically a crapshoot at this point. So chat's going with the Grizzlies as well. And let's
really close, but yeah.
Milwaukee looks like Memphis, but I see more for the Grizz.
No, it was the Grizzlies. I'm just saying that.
All right.
Bucks got a few more than I was expecting.
Third game, we got Phoenix and Dallas. Phoenix is favored by 5.5. Dallas isn't really playing for anything. It'll be interesting to see if they rest their guys. I'm not entirely sure if they are, but Phoenix is 7-0 in the bubble. They're playing for their playoff lives. I'm going to double down on Phoenix here. Even though they're favored by 5.5 points, they've been winning games by more than that. They're playing for everything to cap off a potentially perfect 8-game bubble. It still might not get them in if Memphis and Portland wins, but I think they're playing for everything. Dallas isn't playing for anything, so I'm going to double down on the Suns here.
I'm going to take the Mavericks. I've pretty much just taken the points in all these games.
Yeah, that's not a bad strategy for what is a crapshoot. For me, it was like I was just going to pick the teams playing for more at this point. But that is, I don't know. Phoenix being a 5.5 favorite and me doubling down on them is something that that I didn't see happening at any point this season. It looks like it's pretty close with chat, but it looks like they are going for the Suns as well.
Yep.
There we go. All right, we got 4th out of 6 game. We got Utah, San Antonio. We got San Antonio favored by 6.5 against the Jazz. Of course, the Jazz are locked in to a matchup against the Denver Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll maybe talk about a little bit about the playoffs, but they're not really playing for anything. San Antonio, of course, needs a win to have any chance of making the playoffs. Even if they win, it's still unlikely, but they're actually playing for something. So following the logic I've used, even though they're favored by 6.5, I'm going to take the team that's playing for something, and I'm going to take the Spurs.
I'm going to take the Jazz and the points. That's just my strategy.
2 different trains of thoughts. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Jazz did start off with Spurs are 1 2 2 3 2 4 2 4 3 5 3 6 3 6 4 right now in favor of the Spurs. 6-5 7-5. Just give it a second.
I don't know why my chat's behind
7-6. I don't know either.
Andrew isn't watching anymore because he's not voting. I haven't seen a vote for Spurs from him.
7-7 right now.
All right. Next vote breaks the tie.
Don't vote if you've already voted.
Yep, no double votes. We ain't counting it.
Drip.
Nice drink choice. Vanilla Coke all day, man. Vanilla Coke all day. Can't wait to get some Buffalo tomorrow with some Pepsi.
Anyone watching that didn't vote? Jason Parker. There you go. Spurs is the...
Very, very close. Next year, maybe it would be... Next year, we could throw in a wrinkle where you don't take a loss if you get it wrong. So, like the one you're least confident in. That could be an interesting wrinkle where you only get the win if you win. If you lose, you don't get anything.
You could, like, skip one game.
Skip one game. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. I like the different dynamics of it. The double down was a great decision. I wish we started off with that. I don't even remember if it was me or you who came up with that, but that's been a fun little wrinkle. So here we go. We got Brooklyn and Portland, second to last game. Portland is favored by 9. 9-point spread in favor of the Blazers. In that case, I'm taking the Nets because since when does Portland actually blow teams out? You know, if they're up 25 at the end of the second quarter, that is probably going to be a 5-point game at the end of the third. It doesn't matter who the Nets are playing. That's just what the Portland Trail Blazers do. So with a 9-point spread, you know, I don't want this to be stressful. I want them to win by 1 million, but logically, I'm going to take the Nets and the points. I think Portland wins by like 6 to 8 points, somewhere in there. Like, it's just a little closer than it should be and close enough to make us nervous, but they do take care of business.
Yeah, you said exactly what I was going to say in the first sentence. If Portland wins a game by double digits, I will be very surprised. So I'm going to take the points. Well, once again, I think the Blazers win, but they don't blow teams out very often.
Yep.
So it's just smart to not choose them to blow a team out.
That's why I said I feel like the Blazers won't be a double down, because the chat has been doubling down on the Blazers all bubble long. But this is such a big spread that it's like you can vote against the Blazers and still think they're going to win easily.
I think... Well, there's still one more game. Never mind.
Yep. Nets, Blazers, Nets, Blazers,
Yeah, it's
Blazers, Nets. Wow, chat going against we're all going against the Blazers just based off the spread. A little surprising.
I mean, the Blazers could be playing like an Orlando high school team tomorrow, and I would not pick them to win by more than 9 right now. Like, they're just not playing well.
Exactly, man. Apparently, according to some people on Twitter, it doesn't matter if teams have an all-star starting lineup or if they're playing third stringers, which like kind of makes sense. Not to the extent that they were saying with it, because I was arguing with them on it, but yeah, I mean, there is a little shred of truth to that, because they definitely play down to their competition. So going into Orlando and New Orleans, and we'll talk more about that game at the end.
Yeah.
We got Orlando favored by 3.5 points against the Pelicans. This is just who knows who plays for each team. This is just, flip a coin. And I'm going against Eric on a lot of these picks. I just got a gut feeling for the Magic. All right. I closed my eyes. I sung kumbaya, and I saw a lot of light blue. When I was meditating, when I was doing all that, I saw a lot of light blue. No dark blue. I saw a lot of light blue. So I'm going with the Magic. That's my that was my pick process.
I am going with the Pelicans once again. I have no idea who's going to even show up for this game. So I'll just take the 3.5 points and hope that it's a close game or that the Pelicans win.
Should have meditated on it, man. Should have meditated on it. Should have gotten in tune with your gut. Connected your brain to your gut.
Then I'll be glad I didn't meditate.
True.
And see light blue or whatever that crap you were
I'll punch myself in the gut if my gut's wrong, so... who's chat going for? Vivek says Orlando. I don't know what Lando is.
I'll just count that as Orlando.
Yeah.
Maybe type on there.
Starting with it.
4-1-4-2 5-2 5-3 6-3 7-3 8-3 8-4. Yep. So Magic it is.
Alrighty. Chat rolling with me a bit.
Chat went with you on every game.
Did they?
We have 3 the same and 3 where we went opposite. So chance to
you have a chance to definitely
pretty
catch
much
up.
even by tomorrow night. But yeah.
Yeah, part of me wants to make like the last day like double. The last day like double. But also it's like it's going to be such a crapshoot, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it would be fun.
Because everyone who needs to win or that matters to win plays tomorrow. So none of those teams play on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely no games that matter to any seeding or anything. So.
But imagine if it came down to the last game and this was on the line. That's kind of why I want to do it double.
But you'd have like... Who's the Lakers' biggest scrub?
Taylor Horton Tucker.
Yeah, he'd be in the game with like
Costa Antetokounmpo,
J.R. Smith against like
bro, that would be amazing. What do you mean? Imagine if that decided all this. I think that would be amazing.
Hey, what's up, Dizzy D? How you doing, man?
What's up, Dizzy? I think that would be amazing if it came down to Dion Waiters at the end, up
I agree
6.
I agree with Chris Stevens. You're just trying to remove all the skill from this.
Hey, I'm trying to give y'all a chance, actually, so that it comes down to the last game. I'll try to give y'all a chance because right now I'm sitting pretty comfortably. So I'm trying to make it come, make it come down to the last night. If the games like were competitive, I think that would definitely be like smart to just make it double. So like next year, maybe last day we'll do double everything. But I mean if like it's 2-2, you know what I mean, 4-4, there's no difference. I don't know. I'll do a Twitter poll on that. How about that, Eric? I'll do a Twitter poll and see what chat wants. If you want to do that.
Okay.
If you think we shouldn't, then I'll go with whatever you think too.
I don't know. Yeah, like it's just been. I don't even know who's gonna play on. Like,
yeah,
because it's the Lakers, and who else plays that day? I'm gonna look it up real quick. What are even the games?
You got Nuggets Raptors. I was already on like the scoreboard. You got Nuggets Raptors. So PJ Dozier versus Malcolm Miller. All right, PJ Dozier and the Nuggets versus Malcolm Miller and the Raptors. You got Udonis Haslem in the Heat versus Alize Johnson and the Pacers. You got
Sampson and
you got Mike Muscala and the Thunder versus
we won the game tonight.
I know. Versus Rodney McGruder and the Clippers, and then you got Norvell Pele, however you say his name, in the 76ers. And Raul Neto for the 76ers against Michael Frazier of the Rockets. Like, that's what those games are going to be, man. So that last game is 76ers Rockets. Bro, that would be... I kind of hope it comes down to that, like, regardless. Imagine just a battle between Raul Neto and Michael Frazier to end it all off. That would be amazing.
Yep. That would be pretty awesome.
Eric's like, no, that would suck. Oh, man. I love scrubs, man. I love scrubs, except when they're playing against us because, for whatever reason, we turn them into...
It's fun. Like, that would be awesome if we had a game where we could just play Little and Anthony Simons and Jalen Horde and Gabriel, 48 minutes. Like, I would like that, but...
Dude, that'd be helpful.
Yeah. It's not as fun when you're watching other teams, and they obviously do not care about winning the game.
Yeah. But, I don't know, I was getting hyped to Raul Neto, and that game mattered, though, and we wanted the Sixers to beat the Suns, but when Raul Neto had 7 points in a row.
Yeah. I saw you going crazy on Twitter.
My guy, Raul Neto. Half a chat probably doesn't even recognize that name. Yeah, so anyway, let's preview the game, I guess. We don't really have a jam-packed stream, you know? I mean, let's go over this, just kind of like the standing scenario, because Christian Gamalian from Peeps and Plaid, some of you guys are familiar with him, he explained it in, I think, the best way possible. Let me pull up the standings here. Goodbye, Eric. Hello, standings.
Well, yeah, the quick version is... Unless we get a ton of help, it's either win or go home.
Yeah. Let's just look at it from our point of view. If all three teams lose, we're locked into 8th. If 2 of these 3 teams lose, then we're 8th with a win or 9th with a loss. If only one of these teams lose, meaning 2 of them win, we're 8th with a win or out of the play-in with a loss, right? So... It doesn't really matter who wins because whoever wins with us losing would be past us because we're only a half game ahead. So we can't tie any of these teams. Like we've said, we've had multiple questions about what if us and Memphis tie? What if us and Phoenix tie? Well, here's your proof. There's 1 game left. No way we can tie right there. Let me put the games behind on the screen if possible.
I think what Christian said was basically you move up if you win and any team ahead of you loses, and you move down if you lose and any team below you wins. So
yep, which I thought was like the easiest way to summarize the whole thing.
Yeah, that was a great way to put it.
So, props.
But if a team above you also wins, then you don't get to move up.
Yeah, because Memphis has a tiebreaker with both these 2 teams. They have the tiebreaker with Phoenix because they beat them 3 out of 4 times. They have the tiebreaker with San Antonio because San Antonio has a lower winning percentage at .457 compared to .458 because San Antonio has played 2 less games. It was like the situation we had with New Orleans. So, let's just look at the scoreboard tomorrow. Let's just look at who those teams play since we will be scoreboard watching. I'd love for all 3 of these teams to lose tomorrow. I say there's about a 5% chance it happens, so very, very unlikely. But that would be awesome because then that Brooklyn game wouldn't matter for us. We wouldn't even have to worry. We could play Nas a bunch.
Our starting lineup would be Jalen Adams, Anthony Simons, Nasir Little, Jalen Horde, and Wyndon Gabriel, and we would not sub out unless someone got hurt or got into foul trouble or something.
Be beautiful. Be absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I feel like we're missing somebody, but we only brought 13 guys.
No, that's it. I mean, Mario would be the only one you could say could maybe play in that scenario.
Yeah, and he can play like any position with that scenario. So, but yeah, you got the Bucks Grizzlies at 1 p.m. Okay. Here's the thing with the Bucks and Grizzlies, right? Some people might be rooting for the Grizzlies because a lot of people want us to play the Grizzlies. They're without Jaren Jackson Jr. They're probably the easiest matchup for us. So the thing is, if the Grizzlies win, they're locked into the play-in. So if we win and the Grizzlies win, that'll be the play-in with us being the 8th seed and the Grizzlies being the 9th seed. So a lot of people might actually root for the Grizzlies, just assuming the Suns will probably win and the Spurs will probably win because the Suns are playing the Mavericks, who aren't really going to be trying to win. The Spurs are playing the Jazz, who aren't going to really care. So it's kind of like Suns and Spurs are probably going to win, in my opinion. That's why I picked them in picks against the spread. So in that case, if we lost, we'd be out of the play-in anyway. If we won, we'd be the 8th seed. So If you think the Suns and Spurs are going to win, then you probably also want the Grizzlies to win. Because it doesn't change anything with our scenario. It would just make it so that if we won, we'd play the Grizzlies instead of the Suns or the Spurs. What do you think? Because you were the one who brought that up last stream, and I wasn't even thinking about it like that. So,
yeah, I kind of wish the Grizzlies game was third, but obviously we can't change that. So,
the thing is, it's the same time as the Suns game. So if the Suns are like somehow getting blown out, that might change. We're like, okay, I kind of want the Grizzlies to lose too if the Suns are getting blown out. Because then that would be 2 losses and we'd be guaranteed at least in the play-in, even if we lost,
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, we shouldn't lose anyway, so it's just,
right.
I don't know. I wish I had more confidence in us getting this win tomorrow, but yeah. So that's at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. The Sun. I think we're fine now.
All right. So Javier, if we win and everyone else loses, the standings stay exactly the same, and we play Memphis in the play-in game. Just have to beat them one time, either Saturday or Sunday, and Memphis would have to beat us both Saturday and Sunday to move on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's why we wanted this 8th seed, so that we didn't have to win 2 games in a row. So we just got to take care of business against the Nets. Is there any news on who the Nets are going to play?
I have not seen anything yet. They're locked into 7th, so it doesn't matter for them. But they may want to just win to get to 6-2 in the bubble. Now that the playoff matchups are set outside of the 8th seed, which wouldn't matter into what I'm going to talk about, I'm wondering when they're going to set the schedules for the games.
Yeah. I am looking on Twitter trying to find any information. I'll Google it. Nets, Blazers, lineup.
Chris, they haven't announced any of the playoff dates yet, other than it starts on the 17th, which is Monday. I'm assuming if we're in the play-in series that whoever's the 8th seed will not have to play until at least Tuesday. But this is where it comes back to, if you have to play Thursday in a must-win game because we're out of the playoffs if we don't lose, and then you have to play both games on Saturday and Sunday, then start with the Lakers on Tuesday, you're talking about 4 games in 5 days type, or like, I guess that's 4 days and 4 games in 6 days or whatever. But you can already tell that some of the players are kind of tired. So it would be really nice to just win Saturday, have it be done, not play till Tuesday, and have a full 2 days off, because I don't think they've had that. Right? They've had just 1 day off in between games every game so far, except for the back-to-back.
Yeah. Yep. So be a lot of games in a short amount of time. I'm trying to find some information.
What's up, Kyle? What's up, Gavin?
I'm trying to find some information on this damn Nets team. I mean, like, the Nets could treat this as like a playoff tune-up, considering how hard the Blazers will be playing.
See, that's what I'm thinking, because the teams that don't play Friday, they have, they play today. Even if they played their starters, they won't play till Monday at the earliest, so they'll have 3 full days off even if they play their starters. So I don't know if they're going to rest as much as people think, other than, you don't want to get injuries or things like that, but...
Yeah. Jamal Crawford is out at least. We couldn't have that 50-point game to knock us out of the playoffs. Everything just comes full circle and slaps us in the face.
I mean, we did joke about that when he signed with the Nets, and we found out that he was going to be playing against us the last game. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Kyle Parker asked, "Do you think Wenyen or Simons will play tomorrow?" Maybe a few spot minutes if we need the game. Maybe. I don't think we're going to mess around if we need to win. But yeah.
I
I'm
think
hoping they play a ton because the game doesn't matter. But yeah, it's likely that they will not play much, if at all.
I think you play Dame 40 to 42 minutes. I think you play CJ about 36 because he's hurt. I think you play Gary Trent Jr. 40 minutes. Unless, like, you try and take care of this game and then, okay, hopefully they can rest, like, the last, like, 4 minutes because we're up 22 or something, But you got to pull out all the stops to win this game. Even though this is a game we should win, like, the Nets have been playing well. And they might play some of their guys, right? The Raptors or the Clippers today were pretty much like, it was a pretty much meaningless game, but it was a tune-up game for the Clippers today. They played Kawhi a lot. They played Paul George a lot. So the Nets could treat this as a tune-up game. The thing is, the last game for the Nets, the last game they played, they had a lot of their starters out, like, resting. They had Jared Allen out, I believe. They had Joe Harris. They had Karis LeVert out. Like, they had a lot of their main guys out. The thing is, most teams don't want to do that 2 games in a row. So I expect guys to play.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right. Like I said, I just have no clue what teams are thinking in terms of this. But yeah, I'm hoping you're right.
You're right that they do play guys? That the Brooklyn Nets do play guys? I'm hoping I'm wrong.
I was thinking more like other teams other than Brooklyn. Because Brooklyn, to me, is different than like the Mavericks playing their guys. Because Brooklyn doesn't really have a lot of guys either way. So, like, I mean, even if they play their guys, I don't feel like they're the same as a team like Dallas who could possibly sit Porzingis and Doncic or whatever. So I don't think it matters as much with the Nets. I mean, obviously they do have a couple of good starters still, but overall that team is way less talented than us, whether they play the starters or not. So, like, I don't know if that's a huge disadvantage. And like the people you were arguing with, if they sit everyone, I just don't want us to be like, oh, we got this game,
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they don't treat it that way. They're super intense about it and realize what's at stake here. But
I have found an article that says, after taking Tuesday's game against the Orlando Magic off to manage their injuries, Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, and Jared Allen were all removed from the Brooklyn Nets injury report on Wednesday, ahead of the team's game against the Portland Trailblazers on Thursday. Garrett Temple, who sat out Tuesday's game due to rest, has also been removed from the status report. So if they're being removed from the status report, then they're going to play.
They're going to play, yep.
Because this goes on to say Jamal Crawford will remain out with a left hamstring strain. Chris Chiosa is questionable. I assume he'll probably sit out. So they're going to be playing their guys. Like, and this is a team that could give us trouble, man. Who's going to guard Karis LeVert? Melo? Like, Karis LeVert has been playing well. Joe Harris is one of the league's best three-point shooters. We suck at guarding the three-point line. Who's their starting point guard, even? Garrett Temple's been starting. Is, like, Karis LeVert their de facto starting point guard?
Probably.
Let me find their box scores, because I feel like I'm forgetting someone, but let me go to NBA scores. Let me find the Nets. Let me go to, like, their game against the Clippers.
Oh, Tyler Johnson has been starting.
I'm not really worried about Tyler Johnson.
No, yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
But he had 21 on 6 for 11 and 5 for 9 from 3 against the Clippers. You know what I mean? Like, that could hurt us. He didn't. Okay, against the Clippers, it seems like they played all their guys, and their starting lineup was Karis LeVert at point, Garrett Temple, Joe Harris, Rodion Kurucs, and Jared Allen. Karis LeVert is the type of big guard that likes to play against drop scheme. Because drop scheme sucks against players that can pull up from 3 quickly. Like Dame loves playing against drop scheme. We saw that against the Mavericks, right? He was able to just dribble off his screens into 3s. So like a Devin Booker would play well against drop scheme, that type of thing. But the other type of player that plays well against drop scheme are like the big slashers. like the Luka Doncic's, the Karis LeVerts, just because they can attack the big and they have enough length and craftiness to be able to like get good shots off around that big, or they have enough length where if they make guys like collapse, they can kick out to guys like Joe Harris and Rodions Kurucs. The thing is, Karis LeVert isn't great. Like, he's a good ball handler for a wing, but for a point guard, he's not a good ball handler for a point guard. That would be the type of guy you maybe throw a trap and just throw different looks at, because that's not his natural position. Mm-hmm. So, like, but we're not going to do it. You know what I mean? We're not going to do it. I just hope we don't switch and they just ISO Karis LeVert against Nurkic and Karis LeVert gets hot and, like, has a 30-point game because he keeps getting a guy like Nurkic on him because the Blazers are switching. Given what we've seen the past few games, I expect that's what Portland's going to be doing. So they're going to be switching Nurkic onto Karis LeVert. Brooklyn's going to be playing for that switch. They're going to be ISOing Karis LeVert. He's either going to get hot himself or he's going to collapse the Blazers' defense and kick out to shooters. Garrett Temple has been shooting all right. Kurucs can shoot the ball. Joe Harris can shoot the ball. Tyler Johnson had 5 threes when he played against the Clippers a couple games ago. Luau Cabarrot's been playing well. So that's the thing. Like, this is not a team that we can overlook. This is not a gimme at all.
And like we mentioned the other day, Justin Anderson coming off an 0 for 12 from 3 game is going to hit like 75% against us.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they beat the Clippers, and the Clippers played Kawhi 37 minutes. They didn't play Paul George, but we lost to the Clippers when the Clippers sat Kawhi and didn't play Paul George that many minutes. The Clippers
barely played Lou Williams.
Mm-hmm. The Clippers had Reggie Jackson, Landry Shamet, Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, Zubac, had Lou Williams off the bench, Patrick Patterson off the bench, and Michael Green off the bench. All of those guys were playing normal minutes, and the Nets beat them by 9. The Nets dropped 129 points against that Clippers lineup, which is a better defensive lineup than what we have. So, like, I'm making myself more nervous going into this game. Just looking at this box score is just making me more nervous. Like, it's probably going to be hard for them to replicate. You know, Tyler Johnson 5 for 9 from 3. Joe Harris 5 for 8 from 3. That's a good shooting night, obviously. But, you know, they hit 23s, 20 for 43, 47%. But, like, teams do that to us constantly. So that's where it's like, I'm not sure I'm rooting for the Grizzlies because I don't have a super high amount of confidence. Yeah, the Blazers will come out and play hard, but their defense is so bad even in games that mean a ton. I mean, that Dallas game was like the difference between making the playoffs and missing. And they gave up 131 points.
I mean, there's a reason why we joked about it, but it kind of was true that I could see us beating the Mavericks and have it all set up for us and then losing to the Nets. So yeah.
I mean, by that time tomorrow, though, we will know if, like, a loss knocks us out, right? And there is also a chance that the Nets don't play their starters for the full amount. But, like, they're going to play their starters to start the third. You know, they might rest them in the fourth, but they're going to play them to start the third. We saw it with the Clippers game. Like, we've seen it with other games, you know, where teams have kind of rested the Nuggets game, where they weren't planning on playing their starters in the fourth, just the third, but we're so bad in third quarters that we gave up the lead entirely in the third, and then we've struggled in the fourth quarter against scrubs. That is very possible. I honestly think that's what's going to happen. And, well, I've been right on so many predictions the night before a game. The night before the Dallas Mavericks game, I said, you know what, man, we're going to end up 10 at some point in the first half, and then Dallas is going to come back and take the lead in the third. And it's going to be a battle. I honestly think that happens again tomorrow.
Yeah, the only counter I'll say to that is we have Damian Lillard, and they have no one that can, A, defend him, and B, like, when that man wants to win, I just have a feeling we're going to take care of business.
Oh, I think we win. Yeah, I think we win. But so, I think it's a microcosm of last game where Dame has to go off for us to win or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's 61. Like, I think this is going to be a lot like last game. Maybe not quite as close at the end, but I think this is going to resemble a lot of what last game was. And if Dame doesn't play well, there's a very good chance we lose this game. Like, Dame has to play well tomorrow. Which, like, yes, he's hot, but, like, Dame might not play well. You know what I mean?
Especially with CJ.
Mm-hmm. And CJ's hurting.
What we're going to get from him. Yeah.
Right? And you know what would happen if Dame didn't play well and we lost tomorrow? The narrative around him this offseason would be brutal. It would be so annoying. Like,
even though the man almost averaged 30 points per game this year.
Yeah.
So,
if he scores 41 tomorrow, he will average 30. He will average like 29.95. That rounds up to 30 if he scores 41 points tomorrow.
Yeah. Alex asks, is it fair to say Dame is 99.7% responsible for how far Portland has made it this year? That's a really weird and random number, but I would say it's 99.7%, but it is very high. And like Woj tweeted today, if you missed it, that there's not a single player more important to his team and market and franchise than Damian Lillard. And a lot of people were like, oh, so Damian Lillard's better than Giannis is what you're saying? Like, that's not what he was saying. But yeah, there's Dame. Yeah, I mean, just that stretch alone, like, just think right now, we wouldn't even be here right now in this position if Dame didn't have that insane stretch. And we still, like, didn't really do well that month. I mean, we were slightly over 500, which is better than most months this year.
We were playing hard teams, too.
Yeah, we were playing a pretty tough schedule, but, like, he didn't even win Player of the Month that month because of our record. So, yeah, it's just I'd say it's probably in the 80% to 90%. I mean, one person can make that much of a difference. I don't think they can make 99.7% difference, as you saw with LeBron last year going to the Lakers, and he had a crap team and crap coaching and all that stuff. But yeah, it's definitely high, and the highest I think out of any team in the NBA.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Like, I would sit here and like talk about like scheme things we could do, but Stas isn't going to change stuff now. You know what I mean? That's what sucks. I wish we had a coach that like switch things up a bunch, because we could go into each game like, we should do this, we should do this, we should do this, and like it would be a possibility. You know what I mean? But we can't do that.
Imagine how fun it would be, like breaking down like a full court press out of a game or something like that. You know,
dude.
Like some weird like trapping zone or like
I know you're thinking about like what if we were like Raptors fans instead of Blazer fans covering the Raptors. Yeah. The switching thing is just so stupid. It's so dumb. It's so like what's the word? I can't remember the word for it, but like it's like not something a professional NBA coach should be doing. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's just I don't get if you're because obviously Stotts has watched every game, right? And he should have watched film on every game multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Like he should know this. So like I don't get how an NBA coach has the closest view of the game every single game can watch this team and how bad it is at switching on defense and what happens when we switch on defense and still be doing it like with one game to go in the season. Like that is just like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? So that's what it feels like. It's like you think it's just going to all of a sudden be good one day, but like how many more examples do you need of it not working?
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I don't even like for that Grizzlies game. I don't know who I want to win that game. I know I definitely want the Suns to lose, and I definitely want the Spurs to lose. But like that Grizzlies game, I don't know, man. Because one of the Spurs and one of the Suns are probably gonna win. What do you think is more likely? Both the Suns and Spurs win, or only one of those teams wins?
What was it? Both the Spurs. What did you say?
What do you think is more likely? Both the Spurs and the Suns win, or only one of those teams wins?
I think it's more likely that both win. Yeah, I'm hoping I'm wrong, but
yeah. If all three lost, that would be the best case scenario, but they're playing for their playoff lives against teams that don't care, you know? Like, you know what's funny about this? I almost like wish we had the Grizzlies or I almost wish we had the Bucks instead of the Nets. Like, yeah. I don't know who they're gonna sit out, but I assume they're gonna like rest guys and not gonna have Giannis, and I don't know. It's just kind of crazy how that ends up.
But that's another team that would be like, oh, the 1 seed is the Lakers. We want the Blazers to give them a hard time. Let's let them win, and then we can't even beat them when they're like, here. Take the ball, score. We don't even want to win, and then we still lose somehow.
ESPN just put out a bubble awards article. Comeback player of the bubble, Yusuf Nurkic, 14 of the 16 votes. Sixth man of the bubble, Gary Trent Jr. was their leading guy with 9 votes. Best play was Booker's buzzer beater. Second best play was Dame's high bouncing 3 versus Dallas. Coach of the bubble, Monty Williams, no surprise there, 14 votes. Most improved player of the bubble, Gary Trent Jr., number 1. Lots of Blazers. Defensive player, they had Marc Gasol. I'm surprised Nurkic didn't get any votes. And Dame got 13 first place votes for MVP of the bubble.
Nice.
What do you think
Did they do coach?
Yeah, Monty Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, I went over that one pretty fast. What do you think their all bubble first team is?
Dame, Booker, it's so hard because people didn't play every game. So, but Kawhi and Paul George both played well in the games they played in. I don't know if either of them. Oh, T.J. Warren. All right, thanks, Chad.
That's 3 of the 5.
So I'm missing a big.
You're missing a forward/center, who's not really a center, but can play center, which is probably a dead giveaway.
I don't know.
Giannis.
Okay.
And they had Luka. Giannis only played 5 games though, didn't he? 6.
That's what's right. And some of the games he only played 15 minutes and stuff. So I know he had a couple of good games. Luka had one amazing stat line one game, but didn't.
I think I saw something that he's averaging 33, 11, and 11 in the bubble or something like that.
Yeah.
So quietly, you know what I mean? That's what Luka does, you know. And they're not playing for anything, so nobody's really paying attention. Mm-hmm. So and I didn't realize Luka was playing that well in the bubble until I saw somebody point that out. So I wouldn't have gotten him either. But yeah, T.J. Warren. It's weird to see T.J. Warren with those names.
Trevin with the comment of the century. Multiple Blazers on there. Too bad our personnel isn't very good.
Yeah, we literally...
You gotta tweet that, Trevin.
We literally have...
And tag 503.
The comeback player of the bubble, the sixth man of the bubble, the MVP most improved player of the bubble, and the MVP of the bubble. But, personnel, man. That's dope that Gary Trent Jr. is getting some love. He had 9 of the 16 votes. Rudy Gay had 4. Michael Porter Jr. had 2, which he started a lot of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Javon Carter had 1. What? Has he actually been playing well?
I don't think I've noticed him any of the parts of Sun. I haven't watched a full Suns game, but I've watched parts of them.
Yeah, that's weird.
Did Monty get all the votes, or did Jock Vaughn get any?
Jock Vaughn got 1, and Popovich got 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Terry Stotts got none. Gary Trent Jr. got 6 for most improved. T.J. Warren got 5. Derek White got 3. Javon Carter got 1, and Michael Porter Jr. got 1. So apparently somebody loves Javon Carter. I kind of want to just look up his game log because I feel like he hasn't done anything, but I'm just curious at this point.
What's up, Den Third? Do you get fooled by any fake Twitter accounts today?
Oh, poor Den Third, man.
Can you say it again, Blazer? Tay 2K. I remember seeing a question from you, but I forgot what it was.
Why the hell is he getting votes?
Is it bad?
Let me read off Javon Carter's bubble stats, all right? Starting with the first game. 7 points, 1 assist, 2 for 5 shooting. Next game, 6 points, 5 assists, 2 for 4 shooting. Next game, 0 points, 1 assist, 0 for 2 shooting. Next game, 3 points, 2 assists, 1 for 4 shooting. Next game, 20 points, 3 assists, 6 for 8 shooting. Game after that, 8 points, 5 assists, 2 for 2 shooting. Next game, 3 points, 2 assists, 1 for 1 shooting. He got a 6th man vote and a most improved vote. Somebody was trolling, man. What the hell? He did have a positive plus minus in all those games, but I mean they won every game. So I was gonna say I thought Cameron Payne was played more than him.
When there's only 8 games, why are they doing it like before everyone's played too? It just seems kind of weird.
I don't know, because they'll probably do it right after everybody's played, so they're trying to make sure.
I know they don't really have a. I doubt they have anyone that has a vote. I wonder who would vote for that, if the NBA would just announce that or what.
Yeah. By the way, 7 of the 8 playoff series have been set. The only one that hasn't been set is the Lakers versus whoever wins this play. In the East, you have 1 Milwaukee versus 8 Orlando, which Milwaukee's gonna wipe the floor with them. You have the 2 seeded Toronto Raptors taking on the 7 seeded Nets. Even though the Nets have played really well, Toronto is just going to demolish them as well. So neither of those series are intriguing at all. 3, you have Boston versus Philadelphia, who's the 6th seed. They'll be without Ben Simmons, but that series will be a bit intriguing. You got solid talent still on both sides. I think Boston will take care of that, though. And then you got the most intriguing Eastern Conference series. You got the Heat versus the Pacers.
That's going to be awesome.
That'll be very intriguing. You're going to have T.J. Warren versus Jimmy Butler.
Did you see Pacers gave Nate McMillan an extension today, too?
Yeah. I saw some
It was just
fans,
1 year, but yeah, he...
There were Pacer fans that were like, which people say, oh, see, every team's like that. And like, but Nate McMillan wasn't a good coach here. I don't know. Like, he has like, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't watch the Pacers enough to know if Nate McMillan is a good head coach or not. You know what I mean? Like, he does have talented players there. But also, it seems like they play well together.
We've talked about this with, like, a Popovich. You can't just be stuck with your same coaching thing over and over again. And that's one thing I've noticed when I watch Pacer games is that Nate coaches differently than he coached here. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's necessarily makes him a good coach or whatever, but at least he's, like, kind of changed some of his philosophies and is doing something different rather than trying to be stuck in the Stone Age with your coverages and stuff. And like, because yeah, his pick and roll defense was really bad here too. But
yeah. Trevin tagged me in a Twitter post that was a Jock Vaughn quote, who's the head coach of the Nets. He was saying, all guys in the starting unit will be available to start the game. Looking forward to getting some rhythm back on the floor. So they will start with all their guys. It'll be interesting to see how long they play them. Yeah. But yeah, so Western Conference, you got 1-seeded Lakers versus whoever wins this play-in. You got the 2-seeded Los Angeles Clippers versus the 7-seeded Dallas Mavericks. It'll be interesting to see Luka go up against like playoff defense and go up against Kawhi. Like, that'll be a very good test for Luka versus Kawhi. That'll be fun to watch. The thing is, Dallas has so much shooting, it'll be hard to trap them. Which, like, Doc Rivers likes to trap star players. Like, he was the one who kind of started it on Dame when we played the Clippers years ago in the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see if he like throws a hard trap at Luka and how Luka handles it. But given how good of a defender Kawhi is and given how much shooting Dallas has, I don't think they'll do that. Then you got the 3-seeded.
That's a bad matchup for Zubac too, Porzingis.
It is. They might need to try and match Harrell up against Porzingis because Harrell is a lot quicker, a lot more agile.
Dad.
So.
Dad.
You got somebody calling you.
I'm gonna go get gas.
What?
I'm gonna go get gas in my car.
Okay. Do you need my wallet?
No.
You can take my card. It's up on my nightstand.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No, it's fine. Or I can just get it in the morning too, since I'm taking your car.
Alright.
I'll just get it on my way to work.
Alright.
She stole your money, bro. She got that from your wallet. That was random. I saw her peeking at the door. She's like, Dad. And you didn't react. I'm like, yeah, anyway, we got 3-seeded Denver versus 60 at Utah. It'll be interesting to see that matchup. I think that's a toss-up, to be honest. It'll be interesting to watch Gobert against Jokic.
Yeah, I think Denver will take care of Utah pretty easily. If they had Bogdanovich, it might be different, but
True. But, I mean, Donovan Mitchell steps up in the playoffs, or at least in some moments. Like, he's had some big moments in the playoffs already in his career. And they don't really have, like, a great perimeter defender to guard him with, you know?
They got Torrey Craig.
Yeah.
Harris if he's back.
Well, if they're starting, like, Millsap, they got Millsap and Grant, they should trap Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Like, they should do what they did against Dame. Because Donovan Mitchell doesn't have, like, another, like, really good perimeter scorer like Dame had with CJ. You know? So, like, you got Mike Conley, I guess, but, like, he's kind of declined in Utah. And you got Joe Ingles, but... I mean, that's the thing, though. Joe Ingles is a good playmaker and can shoot and can take guys off the dribble. So, it'll just be interesting to see what they're... Like, who else will run out with them. Who have they been starting with? Ingles, Conley, Mitchell, and Gobert?
Well, the problem is they don't have... I don't think since like the first game they haven't had their full lineup. So
yeah.
It's been Royce O'Neal, but I don't know who their depth is so bad. Their bench is going to be their undoing.
And Denver has a good bench, so yeah.
They basically have Clarkson, who's hot or cold. He's been pretty good during the bubble games, but other than that, they're like 6 deep, and that's it.
Yeah, their next guy is like Emmanuel Mudiay or George Niang.
Yeah.
Who, whenever I look at the box score, he'll be like 4 for 4 from 3. Whenever I watch him, he'll be like 0 for 6. So yeah, that's the 3 for 6.
Tony Bradley.
It will be interesting to see Gobert try and defend Jokic. You know what I mean? Like, just like you got Luka versus Kawhi, you got Gobert versus Jokic. So like, I like some of like the individual matchups in these Western Conference series, especially in the 4-5 if Russell Westbrook is healthy. I actually want Westbrook to get healthy because I want to watch Westbrook versus old team. You got Rockets versus Thunder. I want to watch Westbrook versus Chris Paul because imagine if Chris Paul and the Thunder beat the Rockets and Russell Westbrook. Like
what
narrative
are they going to use this year?
Mm-hmm. Like, and the thing is, Thunder fans still defend Westbrook so hard that it's like, how can if you have Chris Paul outplay Westbrook, knock him out of the playoffs, how can you even, like, defend him when it's, like, your team that did it to him? You know what I mean? Like, are you going to be, like, bragging, like, oh, look at our team, look how good they did, they shut down Westbrook? Or is it going to be, like, excuses for Westbrook? Because they're still such heavy fanboys of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's intriguing. It'll be interesting to watch Thunder Twitter and stuff if Westbrook plays.
Kyle Campbell says, I want CP3 to beat them so bad. I do too, but I also hate Chris Paul and I hate the Thunder too.
Yeah.
So it would be better if they won, but yeah.
Well, one of those teams will lose in the first round, and we'll just be able to to whichever team loses.
But also, if we happen to upset the Lakers, we'd be playing the winner of that series. So, can you imagine getting the Thunder in the second round?
Or the Rockets, who we've played well against?
We match up well against, yeah. I mean, who knows in a playoff series, they probably figure out our defense and then crush us in, like, games 4 through 7, but,
But James Harden always struggles in playoffs, too, so maybe we'll be different in the bubble. It might not seem like a playoff atmosphere to him. He might play well. But, yeah, so, I don't know, man. I feel like Thunder fans might, I don't know, like, think about how annoying Westbrook was in our playoff series. What if that happens with Westbrook doing that against the Thunder? How do Thunder fans feel, who are also like Westbrook fans? Like, how do you feel in that scenario? Like, does Westbrook get so annoying that all these Thunder fans that still are like huge fanboys of Westbrook, do they like stop defending him so heavily? Do they get annoyed? Like, you know what I mean?
Malcolm. He says, you guys got me so worried about tomorrow I can't think about the playoffs. There's a bit of truth to that, too. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Do you like the Blazers winning by 9? We did picks against the spread, and both of us took the Nets. We think the Blazers win by less than 9. The Blazers don't blow out teams. The Blazers don't win by double digits. So, Chris Paul's amazing off the court. What are you talking about? What? I don't hear good things about Chris Paul off the court, but
he's probably fine. I mean, it's not like he's like a criminal or anything. But,
yeah. I don't know. He seems like he'd probably just be like passive aggressive, you know, like
Yeah.
him, Paul George, like those type of guys. You know, there's a lot of NBA players that would probably just be super passive aggressive for no reason, just like cockiness. That's why I like the Dame's a real one. We got real ones here. We don't got stars like that.
So I have a couple of questions from earlier from chat that I'd said I'd get back
Okay.
to if you want to go to those now real quick.
Yeah, and we'll finish up the stream with those.
So Blazer Tay 2K asks if you see Trent being able to handle small forward moving forward past the season, if he could play small forward. I don't know if you want to start that or you want me to.
Here's what I'll say. Against most teams, yes. Against a lot of teams, we have our small forward guards. At least in the past when we had Harkless. You see Harkless against Harden, or Harkless against Chris Paul, or Harkless against Paul George, or Harkless against... Paul George is a small forward. Harkless against... I don't know, throw out any good guard out there. A lot of times we would put CJ on the small forward. You'd have Harkless against Jamal Murray last year in the playoffs, and CJ would guard Will Barton or Torrey Craig or whoever was the small forward, right? So in those scenarios, of course Trent is fine because Trent would be guarding the guard. In other scenarios, whoever the small forward is might be who Trent's guarding, but wouldn't be like have a huge size advantage, right? There are a select few teams where, you know, you have a guy that would have a distinct height advantage over Gary Trent Jr., you know, Paul George, LeBron James, those type of guys, Kawhi Leonard. That would be like the type of players Gary Trent Jr. might struggle against. But the thing is, those guys get theirs anyway. And the way you do a good job on those guys, I feel like, is you have a good team defensive game plan, which we usually don't because we have Terry Stotts. But like, I think he could be fine. If Terry Stotts was a better defensive game plan head coach, I wouldn't really be worried about Gary Trent Jr. against anybody. But since we have Terry Stotts, the only guys I'd really be worried about Gary Trent Jr. playing small forward against are like the Kawhi Leonards, Paul Georges, and LeBron Jameses.
Yeah, I agree. And then his height, when you start Dame and CJ, obviously you need kind of a lengthier small forward. But if we're going to start Collins and Dirk, I don't see any reason why we can't just go smaller at the small forward anyway.
Yeah, because Aminu and Harkless fit each other because they were both like long, multi-positional defenders, so they could switch with each other. So you could have like Harkless guard a good guard and Aminu guard like a big. In the playoffs against the Clippers years ago, you'd have Stotts it was smart. He had Harkless on Chris Paul and Aminu on Blake Griffin. And then they just switched those screens because Harkless could guard Blake Griffin and Aminu could guard Chris Paul, right? They could guard ones and fours. So they were switchable. So that's the thing, is like they complemented each other well. But since we don't have either, since we have a 7-footer as the power forward who can't really switch down like that, you know, it doesn't make it as like beneficial to have a super switchable small forward.
But we're still switching.
But we're still... Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with coaching, what you just said, right?
Oh, my goodness. Do the Blazers have the worst defense of the bubble? Close. Washington's probably worse.
Second. I think it's second to last, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it updated after today's games or the late games yesterday, but going into yesterday, we were first in offense and second to last in defense.
Imagine if our defense was average.
Yeah.
We would have... Bro, if we beat the Clippers, we would have locked up the 8th seed already. God. We could be chilling right now. Like, yeah, we got the 8th seed. Let's see who we get to play. Let's watch Nas go off for 55 tomorrow. Oh, I wish we won that game.
And Alex also asked about Wilt Chamberlain earlier, if he had any four seasons with 4 plus 60 plus games.
He averaged 50 points per game for a season, so
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he did. He did have 2 seasons where he had at least 3. So I'm assuming one of those 2 he had a 4th probably.
Well, if he averaged 50 points per game in a season over 82 games, he has to have more than 3 60-point games in there. Like...
Oh, Kevin's saying he had 32 one season, so yeah.
Yeah. And this prior season, he averaged 50.
So yeah, Dame wouldn't get any extra record or something by going for 60, other than it would be really cool. But we better not need Dame to score 60 tomorrow. I mean, it'd be cool if he did it again, back to back.
Well, he should score 70 to be honest. Shoot.
Yeah.
Like, if that game went into OT, Dame probably would have gotten 70. I feel like. Like, that's what I was wondering. Like, I wanted us to win that game, but it was also like, I was also like, damn, if this somehow goes to OT with Dame having 61 already. Because when he got 61 before it went into OT, that helped him get 61. But this, he got 61 in regulation. So, yeah.
Do you realize the Utah goaltending game is the reason we are not in 8th place right now?
But also, a bunch of our own mistakes are the reason we're not in 8th. So I can't even be mad about that, you know?
But someone needs to remind Dame his comment after that game.
What was his comment?
We better not come down to one game being the difference between making the playoffs or not, or something. I'm paraphrasing, but like he basically said like, well, when they said they got the call wrong or whatever, and he says, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that we're not going to get cost a game and possibly miss the playoffs because of that one game or whatever. So yeah,
that's why it's funny. All the fans saying the NBA wants Damian. It's like we already got screwed out of a game, like blatantly. More blatant than any other call this season from any game, I feel like. Like, that was horrible. We got a Furcon freaking Korkmaz. It's Trevin. It's not Furcon Korkmaz. It's Furcon freaking Korkmaz, bro. But yeah, so anyway, we gotta log off. Watch party tomorrow. For all of you that had tickets to our one that we botched, you will get a link tomorrow for the watch party stream tomorrow. If you want to watch our watch party, what we're doing is we're going to be streaming during the game. We're going to be streaming during the game, reacting live during the game. So if the Blazers choke, you will see us lose our minds. If the Blazers, win, you'll see us be happy and shit. You know what I mean? Like, but like you will hear like probably many expletives. I'm not going to change the way I watch the game. You guys will hear me how I watch a game by myself on stream if you are in that watch party. So if you want to join that watch party, become an all-star level member on the main channel or higher. You just have to go to the main Blazers Up Press channel and hit join and then become an all-star level member. There will be other perks with that coming up over the rest of this month. Or you can buy merch. That's the other way. If you buy a piece of merch, not only do you get the merch, you also get a ticket to that watch party. So here's the link for the merch if you want to go buy it. We got shirts, we got sweatshirts. So Kevin, you will be in there. I will email you the link.
Hopefully you can figure out how to follow the link to get in.
Shervin's
Just kidding, Kevin.
The YouTube membership, the All-Star YouTube membership costs $5. $5 a month. And you get access to the watch party. And we will be doing at least one, maybe two watch parties a month during next season when we have 15 games a month. So, yeah. Or you can buy some merch, which is $15, $20. Yep. Denther says, oof, money. Hey, man, I got running a little bit like a business. I put in so much time into this, I don't know.
Trevin.
Are you in Discord yet, Trevin? Running a little like a business, but I think it's worth it for the YouTube memberships and stuff. I'll you get a discount code on merch and all that type of stuff. I keep the merch prices low as well. Most people would probably charge more for the merch. I do keep the merch prices low. I won the Twitter giveaway for the free ticket. Do I get it for this one as well? Oh, Storm, you're Noah. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, anybody that had a ticket to the watch party last time has a ticket to the watch party this time. So
and hopefully YouTube doesn't glitch out and give everyone a free one.
It should be fine. We know what the glitch is now. I can work around it. I will set up my computer out there before I go to bed and make sure it's working too. And I will set up the stream tonight and make sure it's working too, it's unlisted and set up and everything. So,
and
yeah.
Denther, how many days have we gone live in a row? And then we missed one day and then had several days before that too. And how much more free content do you want, Denther?
Yep. Get these guys a sponsored chat. Yeah, man. You know I don't do it for the money, man.
It's just us watching the game. You can't actually show the game on our feed, so.
Yeah. Yep.
You missed it though. Last one, we had some glitches, and I did it from my bed, just hanging out, just me in my bed watching the game. So, like 4 people got a special treat.
There's 8 in there.
Right.
It just the glitches kind of ruined that last stream. So, anyway, yeah, we will do the watch party tomorrow. Last game of the season. Figured it made sense to do the last game of the season, and it's like an evening game, so I like that a little bit better. A 6 p.m. game. And then we'll be live after the game, and we'll either be happy or we'll be very pissed off. We'll see. I'll be tweeting all day tomorrow. If you don't follow me, it's at ToryJonesYT. I haven't had the overlay up all day, so let me throw it up. Nope, not that one. This one right there. That's our Twitters. Go follow us. There's really nothing else to plug. I gotta go work a little bit more. Gotta go do this DoorDash thing in the middle of the night. But I'll catch you guys tomorrow on that watch party and on that post-game stream. So anyway, that's a wrap, man. Have a good night, Eric.
In, everyone.
Have a good night, chat. And I'll catch you guys later. As always, peace out.